let's get right into it.
Yeah, what are some of the biggest questions around quarterbacks this year, Connor J. Rogers?
Will Patrick Mahomes return to being an elite fantasy option? I feel like this is kind of a repeat question the last couple of years, Jay. We're kind of clinging on to, we know how great Mahomes is as an NFL quarterback. That's not the combo. But the reality is 17.6 points per game over the past 2 seasons. He averaged over 23 his first 5 seasons. That's a jarring difference.
Yep. So I think it's a question about Patrick Mahomes, but it's also a question about Rashee Rice, right? If you tell me that Rashee Rice is going to miss 3 games, then I think Patrick Mahomes has the scope to be a top 5, 6 fantasy quarterback. If you tell me he's going to miss 8, then all of a sudden it's like, all right, why is this offense so different from last year? I think Rice is the key piece. But regardless, I do think Mahomes will have a better season. There's just been some little snippets leaking from Mahomes, him talking about, in years past, I haven't needed to have big games for us to win, but, I should be putting up. He's kind of implying that he needs to do a little bit more. So I think with the offensive line fortified, I think with the receiving core, it should be better. And I think Mahomes, just with the sting of the Super Bowl, I think that he will put up bigger numbers this year.
Yeah, no concerns from his offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, who we got to hear from on just how excited they are for Mahomes going into year 9 already.
He's really excited. He's motivated in the right way. That's just how he is. It's who he is. But he doesn't want to, we spend a lot of time in OTAs going back to the basics on a lot of stuff. We're graduating now to with these wide receivers, working on that timing, and I think you're seeing a trust element with him, with several guys. Every year, we probably say the same thing with Pat, but he creates an own edge for him. He wants to be great. He wants to be the best, and he wants to be coached hard. So that's what we try to do.
Yeah, I have Patrick Mahomes as QB6 here, and so I'm sort of splitting the difference a little bit here, but I think he's too good. Now, I get it. Last year, he was QB11 on a points-per-game basis, first time in his career finishing outside the top 10. And I think there's a couple things you can sort of point to, right? Number one is, he just hasn't had Tyreek Hill. I mean, just not surprising, in the 4 seasons when he had Tyreek Hill, again, peak Tyreek Hill, he averaged 23.2 fantasy points per game. That was also peak Travis Kelce. And so Kelce has taken a step back. He's not playing as many offensive snaps as well as they want to save him for the postseason. All due respect to Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy or any of the other guys that they've tried to get out there, Juju Smith-Schuster, whatever. They've never replaced, Tyreek Hill, who at the time when he was in, friend of the podcast, Tyreek Hill, when he was in Kansas City was a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. So that's one thing, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why you think about last year, only 15% of his passes, Connor, traveled 15 or more air yards. He was the lowest rate among starting quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, cannon of an arm, Patrick Mahomes became a dink and dunker last year.
It's crazy.
I think the pushback against the Tyreek thing, though, is that 2022, Mahomes won the MVP, threw for 5,000 yards, 40-plus passing touchdowns, and his number 1 wide receiver was Juju Smith-Schuster. And in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, he's going down the field to win the Super Bowl. He's going to Juju Smith-Schuster. I get that Kelce was better back then, but I don't think the weapons are that much worse now than they were in that year.
Which I think is a fair pushback, Jay. But I'll just say here, their defense was worse. That's the thing, is their defense was worse. But the last 2 years, they were the 4th best scoring defense last year. They were the 2nd best scoring defense in 2023. He hasn't needed to throw his way out of things the way he did that year. They've been able to run the ball effectively. They've been able to keep games close. They just haven't needed to go crazy. And so I think it's just sort of been a combination of things in terms of they haven't needed to throw as much. They don't have as many weapons. There's been players in and out of the lineup. Rashee Rice gets hurt. Xavier Worthy's a rookie. Travis Kelce's getting older. Even the great Juju Smith-Schuster.
Still there, by the way.
Yes, I know, but still wasn't 100% healthy. He was in and out of the lineup that year as well. Remember the Sammy Watkins era?
How could I forget?
Yeah, of course.
My favorite era.
Yeah, of course. So they've tried different things over the year. HK Property Maintenance telling us, loving the live shows. We agree. We love the live shows. Thank you for being a part of it. Here's the thing, and I don't have a stat for this. I think he's pissed. I think Patrick Mahomes is pissed. I think last Super Bowl was a wake-up call.
It was a little embarrassing by their standards.
Not a little.
Right.
It was arguably the worst, given the stakes, it was the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' professional career.
Sure. I think that's fair.
Not only did they get their asses kicked, but he played horribly. He played horribly. The Chiefs' offense played horribly. And all the talk of they had a chance at a dynasty, and Taylor Swift's going to be in the field kissing Travis Kelce after the game, and sunshine and rainbows and America's team, and then the Eagles came in there and just punched him in the mouth, just kicked their ass.
I was wondering what you're gonna say. It was gonna be real good.
Yeah, I was just like, can
live
I get
now.
away? Yeah, can I get away with more on live YouTube than I can on live TV? I don't know. I like my bosses here at NBC, so whatever. So I do think that there is, and sort of Nagy kind of hinted at it there at the presser, which is he's motivated this year. I think he was embarrassed, and I think there's a little bit of it's not just enough to drive the team down so we can kick a field goal at the last second and try to win this game 17-14.
Sure.
I want to go full on Patrick Mahomes and remind everyone what a bad MFer I am.
Yeah. Two quick things there. One, when he lost the Super Bowl to Tampa Bay where they got blown out, I don't think it was the same because I actually thought he played well in that Super Bowl. He just didn't have a chance with the O-line, or he didn't play well against the Eagles. And then secondly, Connor, if Josh Simmons was healthy and had no injury flags, where do you think he would have gone in the draft?
I mean, potentially in the top 10.
Yeah.
Legitimately, that kind of build and the film, he played 6 games and he was lights out in those 6 games, and then he tears up his knee. And you look at just the way, that film where he was never beat by anybody. And that's what the Chiefs need. They need a franchise tackle that can keep Mahomes upright. So there was an injury risk there because the knee injury was significant. But it looks like the early returns in camp so far are promising.
Yeah, and by the way, now you're also getting Xavier Worthy, who came on towards the end of last year. Yes, Rashee Rice is going to miss some games, but he's not going to miss all of them. Rashee Rice looks like Rashee Rice in camp, and so for the majority of the season, again, hoping for health, he's going to have his full complement of weapons, right? He's going to have, Worthy and Rice and Kelce and Hollywood Brown and whatever the rest of the guys there, but I think there's a reason for optimism around Patrick Mahomes this season.
Also, last thing here. The Chiefs are 8-1 to win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes' floor has been reaching overtime of the AFC title game. He's just going to be in the AFC title game again. The Chiefs, I just don't think should ever be 8-1 to win the Super Bowl entering the season.
Dennis Rodriguez on YouTube, thanks for chiming in. The Chiefs have been trying to win championships, not fantasy games, so they are playing more safe and relying on defense. Problem is, guys, we're trying to win fantasy games.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're trying to figure out what will that mean for Mahomes. But quarterback 6, Matthew, I think that's a pretty promising outlook on Mahomes. I mean, compared to, you think of the guys that are around that ranking. Let's move over to another player that has just been.
He's heard all the chatter, including the fact that, he's got this dad bod now. He's out of shape. We've seen some of the photos, everything like that.
He had that when he was.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's never been like Mr. Ripped.
As we said, last year, quarterbacks don't need to be ripped and it's not cardio out. You need some cushioning to absorb these ridiculous hits from Myles Garrett.
The most jacked quarterback in the league is Will Levis, for context.
Yeah.
So
have you seen Josh Allen with his shirt off? Yeah. Josh Allen's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He's getting some. It's okay.
By the way, I applaud your encyclopedic knowledge of what quarterbacks look off without their shirts on.
I can go deep. I go 20 deep.
We'll power rank the most dad bods of quarterbacks. Another guy here on the list, guys, that this
Daddy,
is more...
what are you looking at? Shirtless photos of quarterbacks. Why do you ask, Rilo?
Looking for the cushion against the sacks.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.